Well, hello, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans, GH fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, July the 19th. Tuesday, July 19th. This was a pretty good General Hospital. It definitely moved, except for the Cody and Dante parts. Didn't move. I was even uninterested in the Michael and Dante boxing in the ring, and then Cody. Much better things to talk about, look at was Willow. How predictable is Willow? So TJ tells her that her white blood cells are high. Okay. She's probably, and I'm not a doctor and I could be completely wrong, is it going to be some kind of leukemia to where she's going to need bone marrow from Nina? Something that Nina, as a relative, a blood relative, is going to have for her. But he just says, look, she goes, oh, well, that's common during pregnancy. And he says, yeah, but you fainted months before you were pregnant. So I'm looking into it to make sure that what's happening isn't, something more. So he tells her to make sure she keeps her appointment with Britt, which was right after that. Michael was on his way for that. And he says he just wants to make sure. And somehow it came out. I forget if he mentioned it or she did. I think he mentioned it. Now that you finished nursing school, a lot of things. And I'm thinking, well, my goodness, she finished nursing school already? She's done with nursing school. We didn't even find out. I do remember she was studying a lot, but most nursing students have to. But I guess Willow is done with nursing school. So when Michael gets to the hospital and it said, is everything okay? And she goes, yeah, I'm just excited. She's excited for her doctor's visit, she tells him. Then Britt comes, takes her to the room, gives her a quick exam, and then calls Michael in to see if they could hear the baby's heartbeat, which they do. So Willow and Michael are very excited about that. Britt's happy about that as well. And once she's getting dressed and Michael's looking at her, he's like, Willow, are you okay? And she's like, yes, I'm just so excited to hear our baby's heartbeat. And she reaches in and they're hugging each other and the camera pans on her face. She has worry. Now, wouldn't you tell Michael that TJ called you, asked you to come down? And wouldn't you tell Michael what TJ said? Wouldn't you? Why not? Why wouldn't she? But I knew Willow wasn't going to do that. And she sure didn't. She absolutely did not. So we'll see when she finally does tell Michael there's a problem and she's going to try to go it alone. When is she going to finally tell him? Let's see. Do I want to get to Trina's trial? Yes, I do want to get to Trina's trial. How many of you, like me, were happy to see that young, handsome Cameron Weber? He was there just in time to testify on Trina's behalf, and he did a phenomenal job with that testimony. I tell you, it just made me smile. But did anybody notice? You never saw Cameron again. Cameron was gone. So I guess whatever he's doing, maybe he's on another movie project or something, or a movie project. He just was in and he was out. Jocelyn was the staple for Trina. So that was just interesting, but I was happy they had him come because that was crucial for him to be able to testify on Trina's behalf. But Jocelyn, Diane was able to tidy it up, because Jocelyn got a bit stank there yesterday, and Diane tidied that up, made everything, smoothed it out. How, she and Trina are just like this, and Diane let her elaborate, whereas the district attorney did not, so it came out very well, I feel, with Jocelyn. Then they got TJ's mom, what's her, Jordan Ashford. onto the stand. And Jordan did a very good job, you know, straight by the book as the police commissioner, but you could tell it was still slanted in Trina's favor. Because it's like the lady, the prosecutor said, you know, oh, the phone was found in her possession and X, Y, and Z. And it wasn't until Diane was able to cross-examine Jordan that she said, so when you looked into Trina's purse, you found the phone. And Jordan was like, well, no, I never went through her purse. She went in her purse and gave me the phone. And she was surprised about that wasn't her phone, you know, and quite frankly, that any jury would say, wait a minute, if she was guilty, for one, if she's going to the police commissioner's office, would you bring the phone you used? Would you even have both of those phones in your purse? No, you would not. You would have left that other one at home. And you would have gave the police commissioner the phone you use, okay? So that was interesting. And I don't know how Esme was able to get a credit card transaction from, you know, a purchase from Trina's card in that phone's history. I don't know how she was able to do that. I don't even think they ever showed that, because realistically, she should not have been able to. So that was just something that popped in there that I thought, where did they come up with that? Because that didn't make any sense. And even Officer Rory, well, I don't know what his last name is, but Rory, he was called to the stand, and the district attorney was saying, okay, there was a bar disturbance. And he's like, yes, there was. And, you know, there was a bar fight. And yeah, we broke it up, and, you know, that was it. You know, and she goes, yeah, but there were two underaged women in the club, weren't they? I mean, in the bar. And he goes, yes. And he goes, with fake IDs, she says. And are they in this courtroom now? And he goes, yes. What are their names? So she made him tell it was Jocelyn and Trina. And so she goes, so, you know, like, Trina's supposed to be so good, yet she knew exactly where to go, where she had gone to buy the phone in the first place, you know, and they were trying to get another one, which made 0 sense. Now, if Trina was the one who bought the black market cell phone, why would she ever take Jocelyn, her best friend, to the dive bar where she got it from? See, that she would have done better leaving them out of the bar, because to me, that poked more holes in her case than anything was bringing that up. So he said, you know, so she asked him, what did he do? And he says, well, he took the fake IDs and he gave them a strong talking to. And he let them go. But when Diane cross-examined him, I just love Diane as an attorney. She said, what were they doing there? And he says, they were looking for the bartender that sold, I think he even said, Esme Prince the phone. That's what they were looking for. They wanted him to ID her. So there we go. You know, I mean, Rory, his testimony did not hurt. It helped. It was able to finalize and shed light as to why they were there. If Trina had, you know, done that, she never would have took Jocelyn there. And for the simple fact they were there trying to get information, she's trying to prove her innocence. So that went very well. I like that. But the absolute best part to me was Spencer. Ooh, Spencer Cassadine. Yeah. Ooh, he can have a good stone face, you know, good bluffer. Esme's eyes were shooting at him like daggers, like she wanted to kill him right then. But he is right. The one thing she wants most is to know who her mother is. So she kept saying, this is fake. He goes, is it really? Are you willing to bet on it? Because she goes, why would I go and take Trina's place, in court, or possibly go to jail? He goes, you were crafty enough to set her up. You're crafty enough to get her off without incriminating yourself. And so she goes, Trina, you doing this because you think what? She's going to come to you happily ever after? She's already moved on, Spence. And oh, you're not going to get what you want. And she went on. And she goes, we left. I wasn't even there when that video was taken. And so Spencer finally broke it down. And what was interesting to me is if they all, as friends, would have talked about the events of that night. Spencer did have the missing pieces that Jocelyn should have known, Trina's lawyer should have known. And what it was when he talked to Esme. She goes, I was never, alone in that room. So he goes, oh, you had plenty of time. You left the room to make those drinks. You were gone quite a while. That's probably when you placed the camera. He says, as a matter of fact, Esme, you were the one who insisted Cameron and Jocelyn have that master bedroom. You peeped it out and spied it out first. He says, and then the whole weekend, you were the one trying to push Jocelyn and Cameron to have sex, trying to push them. Yeah. And then she goes, oh, so I'm supposed to be some kind of psychic now. How would I know Trina would have too much to drink? And Spencer said, that's just the thing. Those pills. Oh yeah, he found the pills. She didn't know he saw the pills. Remember, he covered them back up. Those pills you have hidden in that box, I took them to Britt. She told me exactly what those pills would do to a person, especially when mixed with alcohol. She says, and the thing is, you had to use just the right dose or you could cause serious harm to an individual. You could have seriously hurt Trina. So yes, you definitely had the means, the time to do it all. And then remember, I left something at the cabin, and you went right back the very next day to get it. See, that's when you were able to pick up the cell phone. So he's like, you're just as cold and he just broke her down, and said, and she was like, I befriended you and I that when you were just a bitter little kid or whatever. He goes, and now you're a bitter young adult, a bitter man, and blah blah blah. And he said, Esme, he's like, you're evil. He's like, I never asked you to set Ava's car on fire. Never did I ask you to do that. Nor did I ask you to put her dead daughter's picture by the burning car. And he goes, see, that's the psychopath you are. Oh, Spencer was something else. I was like, go Spencer. I mean, so she says, I'm not giving you what you want. She was walking out. He says, well, TikTok, my offer doesn't last for long. And he picked up the envelope. He goes, because this here will be off the table. So she walks out the room and she kind of leans against the wall and slides down. she's trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I do? Because he does have a lot of other missing pieces that other people haven't realized. Because look, Cam and Jocelyn and Spencer, have they talked about it? They all know she's the one that made the drinks. She left the room. If Cam would have, if Spencer would have said, look, I found a pill in her, there was so much, it could have been handled differently, but you know, it's just playing out the way it's playing out. But he does a good poker face. Now, when she left, he did look a little worried because he doesn't quite know if his plan is going to work. He doesn't know. And quite frankly, Trina's trial, it's getting so far progressed. I really think the judge is going to come back with a verdict, and or is it a jury trial? I think it'll be over quickly. It's a jury trial. And I honestly believe they're going to find her not guilty because the evidence is just too circumstantial. It really honestly is. Now, that was GH today. That was pretty darn good. I was excited. You know, it captured my attention today. So let's go to comment corner. Comment corner. Mary, she brought up a good point. Mary says Carly is a major stockholder in Aurora Media. She could take Crimson from Nina. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about her now being Nina's boss and really just making Nina's life miserable at Crimson. I could see Drew giving Carly an office next to his and Carly going in just saying she wants all kind of changes to Crimson because Carly does not know media, okay? And these will be changes that are going to just be horrible for the magazine, but Carly doing it just because she could. I kind of like the fact that, yeah, you know what? That's interesting. Nina's so busy buying the hotel and she didn't buy the magazine, which was her baby and is her baby. She could have owned that, but she didn't. Now she will be at the mercy of Carly. So I kind of like that theory. Let's see if they decide to go that route with it. And then Monique, when she answered the trivia question about, Nicholas, when did he find out? It was when little baby John, at the time, he was a baby about 6 months old. She went to YouTube and put the question in, did the research, and she saw the episode that happened on. And then Sandy says that Sonny should have put Miss Wu onto Esme's case. Told Miss Wu, if he would have told her to make her disappear, I owe you if you do it. Miss Wu would have said, consider it done. she would have handled that with no problem. And then Sandy also says that Nina is totally obsessed with Carly. She can't have not one conversation without mentioning Carly's name. And she just doesn't understand how Sonny can't see Nina for, Nina, for who Nina really is. And then she said she hopes Trina gets out of the mess of the court, and she's saying that now that Spencer let Esme know he's on to her, she's afraid for Trina because Esme's psycho attitude or her psychotic states, we don't know who she's going to target next. We honestly don't know. We do know if it's Jocelyn. Jocelyn will give her a run for her money. I'll never forget when a younger Jocelyn ran into Nell on the pier. Jocelyn whooped her behind. That was and Jocelyn won that fight. She is Carly's daughter, and she will go pound for pound. She will. Esme's just devious. She would try to poison somebody. That's how Esme works. And then Nakisha, she answered the trivia on, baby John. She goes, yes, Spencer was still a baby. His name was John. And then when he was 6 months old, Robin told the truth. That is what Nakisha said. Thank you so much for that answer. See, I love the trivia question because some people remember and some people actually go back and do some research, because sometimes I will go back and do some research before I ask certain questions if I have time. But I will tell you if I don't know, and I'll ask for help if I really want someone to come up with the answers, because I know I don't have time to research it. And Annette said, yeah, Spencer was a baby. And the truth came out and says, Carly does not have a clean slate. Nope, she sure doesn't. But Carly is Carly, right? Gotta love her. You gotta love, I'm team Carly all the way. That is just me. So that is the comments for today. Thank you so much. Please give comments on today's recap, today's episode of General Hospital. What was your favorite scene? What did you like about the trial or disliked about the trial? What did you like about Spencer and Esme? What did you feel about the way he handled her, or how that whole situation went down? I would love to hear your comments, love to hear your thoughts on that. So with that being said, that is the General Hospital Daily Recap for July 19th, 2022. I will be back tomorrow with another recap.